beginning with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Senator Katzanen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy Monday, everybody, after our week off. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please call the roll?
Senators Anderson, Bolwig, Bry,
Here.
Christoffels, Daringe excused, Foley unexcused, Holland,
Here.
Cadenum,
Here.
Lopez, Mollison,
Here.
Podell,
Here.
Roca,
Here.
Sharples Schmidt,
Here.
Shrestha,
Here.
Siwa Cody,
Here.
Sleep,
Here.
Smith unexcused, Wallen unexcused, Warfa, Diversity Liaison Alex, Communications Chair Ringenberg,
Here.
Finance Chair Delahoyd,
Here.
Government Affairs Chair Hunt, Chief of Staff Peterson here, Vice President Sierra,
Here.
President Spear,
Here.
AFA,
Here.
AISA,
Here.
BSA,
Here.
GSA,
Here.
Hero,
Here.
Honors College,
Here.
IRC, LASA excused, RHA,
Here.
Unified Council,
Here.
Unified Council,
Here.
UPC,
Here.
Advisor Bylander,
Here.
Advisor Schmidt,
Here.
Advisor Willis.
Moving on to adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve? Senator Christoffels.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. And likewise with the minutes, is there any additions or corrections from 2 weeks ago's minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. All right, we have an exciting open forum today. We'll begin with City Councilwoman Brianna Duran from the Brookings City Council.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I literally ran from another meeting, so I've been embarrassingly trying to catch my breath in the back of the room, so I'm sorry if I'm a little breathy. So I'm from City Council. For those who aren't, thank you. Thanks. For those who aren't aware, a representative, typically me, comes to monthly meetings to just give an update on stuff that's happening in the city. If you guys have any questions, any collaborations with students, so this is kind of a Q&A time for you as well. My name is Brianna Dorn. I was here last year, if you remember me. So for those who don't, all the city council members and mayor are part-time. So we have, part-time. So we have day jobs as well. So my full-time job is director of Margot's Place, which is our domestic violence shelter in town. All right, so updates. I got a small list from you guys on things that are interesting, so I'll start with that. So the first is an update on Target in the marketplace. So the marketplace is the land or piece of land that we call across the interstate to where like Aldi and by like My Place Hotel and where Target is being built right now. So Aldi opened up in November. That was ahead of schedule, which was really exciting. Target is still building. I think it's on track for this fall. I saw that they were starting to hire and train out, so hopefully they open up a little bit sooner. And then it is confirmed that Quickstar will open up down there as well. The other land is kind of being optioned out for different businesses right now, so we don't have any firm updates of any businesses, but it's a really enticing piece of land, so hopefully we have some updates on that soon. With that, we recently got an update on what is replacing Whiskey Creek. So there is a local entrepreneur and developer, Al Kernbach, in town, and he bought that piece of land and he's going to make it a Max Eastside Grill. Not sure what type of food it is. He just got approval for the transfer of the liquor license, so he's building that up. And then there's a potential for a patio and kind of expansion area there as well to just create more of a shopping center down there with Aldi. No opening date yet, looking to have an update in a couple of months. Next, I feel like I say this every time I've been here, an update on the water tower on 6th Street. So the next update that BMU has is that it will be coming down in July. So we've been talking about that a lot of when that will come down. It's across from Starbucks, if you guys know where that is. elections. So typically during this time, we'd be talking about city council and school board elections. So there was a change in the legislature last year where they moved statewide that all local elections had to align with the primaries in June or the general election in November. The school board elections are now going to be in June, and absentee voting starts in April, I think April 17th, and so you guys can still absentee vote while you're here if you're leaving for summer. And then city council elections were moved from April to November. So that's when the next city council election will be. You can see last time I came here, we talked about the apartments going up. So Latitude 44 in Paragon, right by Starbucks, and Lofts on Park Hill, those two big apartment complexes right by campus. Those are continuing to go up. They've started doing some sneak peeks into some of the apartments, so hopefully we have an update soon on opening days. Next, with the police and fire station. So this has been a pretty big community conversation. We need a new public safety center. This has been a conversation decades in the making. What we're looking at replacing is the public safety center that's located downtown. So that's the conjoined fire and police station. The fire station still needs to be downtown, right? They have their different sectors in the community that they serve. But the police station had a little bit more flexibility of where it could be located in the community because we made a shift with our newest chief to focus on community policing. So the town is split in half and there's the 2 wards. And those are kind of the beats that the officers will patrol throughout their shift. They really learn the neighborhoods that way. And then response time is even shorter. So they're not just waiting at the station to respond and kind of just waiting for that radio call. So an update on that is that the fire station is going to remain kind of in the vicinity of where it is right now. They're going through the design and kind of the last bits of requirement over there. With the police station, that is going to be its own building, and it's going to be located by the Dakota Bank Center. So where, the marketplace is and that spur of development over there. We're working through the designs right now. If you guys have any input on what you would like it to be, because we want it to be a community building, please send us your thoughts. Let me know. Send an email to the chief or to city staff as well, because we're looking at having some training room and just some upgraded an upgraded facility for our officers and first responders. Let's see what else. And then with that as well, so Dakota Bank Center, that is another conversation. Right now, the Dakota Bank Center is a public entity and it is staffed by a contractor called OVG. So they're an event production company that runs all of the different events, different conferences that we have at the Dakota Bank Center. Their contract is up at the end of this year. So I brought it forward that we need to have a community conversation about what that center looks like. Why is because the event industry is continually struggling since 2020. I want us to have quality events, and as does the city council, but we recognize that that's going to come at a subsidy cost for the city, and we need to have that community reaffirmation that that is what they want in that building. So right now, it's a mass survey that you can take online if you go to our Facebook page, if you go to cityofbrookings.gov and take the Dakota Bank Center survey until March 1st. You're going to be putting in what you want that building to be. So some ideas we've had is a rec center. Some ideas we've had is kind of a hybrid activity center. Some want to keep it an event center. We're looking at a mixed use. It's a wide net right now. And then we're going to have community meetings afterwards from those survey results, really seeing what that building should be. And it's just because we have that opportunity with the contract. If you guys have any ideas tonight too, actually I'll just take like 10 seconds verbally. Does anyone have any ideas or anything that they would like to see in that building? Maybe they'd like to keep it the same, or maybe they had an idea of something new. You didn't think there would be participation, huh? I had an idea, so I'm going to throw it with you guys. Anyone? Yeah?
I personally would like just more events for, to get off campus. I think that as someone who's also going to be living here this summer, I think I would like it to be, very college friendly, so I'm happy with hosting more concerts if they're able. Or, I'm not sure what the cost would look like for the city, but I would be in favor of more concerts and events.
All right.
If it did get decommissioned as an event center, have you looked into like where you would move some of those events that happen there every year?
So that's part of the conversation. Is really we're seeing with this initial survey, does the community want it to stay an event center? And right now, that is what it's looking at. I don't think any of us are looking at dramatically changing it right away. We're not leading the ideas of this survey. But it's just if we want it to keep it an event center and offer what we currently have, it's gonna come at a cost of our public funding, which we're happy to do if that's what the community wants. So, no, so we haven't gone into any of those details yet.
In the event, maybe this hasn't, been as frequent as it used to be, but do you often get like sports competitions, local? I know that before I came to SUSU, had a lot of dance competitions at the Dakota Bank Center. Do you see, is that a good amount of revenue? Do you see hosting more being beneficial?
Right, so that would be a question for Ashley, who's our current manager, but I know that they try to get as many like local and state and regional competitions that they have the space available for. So what we're finding out is that a lot of sport competitions or ag competitions or ag events are very specific on what they need. And so sometimes it's you need a hotel attached to the center, sometimes it's a space, sometimes it's the flooring, sometimes it's putting it out to bid, years in advance. And so we just might not be on the radar yet. All of those factors play into it. So I think that is one of the options is more of that sporting and more of those ag events. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Thanks for that input. I'll write that down too. Anything else off the top of anyone's head?
So the subsidy consideration is because the events bring in a lot of people that would spend money at businesses in Brookings. Is the reason that the city council is looking at this is because the events have not proven to be a good economic impact and the trade-off isn't there with the subsidy?
So it's a broader conversation because subsidies are going to be a public benefit. So we're not ever going to break even. The thing is with the contract with OVG, the current company, and this was before I came on council, so it's been years ago, that they were going to get really close with breaking even. And that was before even 2020 and the pandemic and everything we saw. And so we've just seen a trend nationally that the events industry isn't what it used to be, and attendance isn't what it used to be, or they're just not going to Brookings or even South Dakota. And so it's kind of a mixture of things. And so with the subsidy, we have had to subsidize additionally what was previously budgeted every single year for the past 3 years. And that's just maybe the trend. I think we just maybe need to revisit the contract and the budget and have a more realistic view. So that's the conversation, is that it's not going to be a perfect economic trade-off because we're not going to be able to fully track if you come to an event. Did you stay in hotels? Did you stay and eat? We can gather that and make assumptions from the similar dates, but we can't track like individuals specifically. So it's looking at that public benefit too. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question a little bit? Okay. Okay, well, if you think of anything else, please take that survey. Again, it's open until March 1st. Okay, and otherwise, I think those were my highlights that I had. Any other questions about the city or anything that you'd like me to talk about next month at all? Or anything you'd like to share? Yeah.
So with the new police station tentatively going on the more east side of Brookings, I would consider that kind of outside of the general vicinity. Do you have any concerns on if the call response rate is gonna increase or any delays in that sense?
Sure. So this was one of the topics of conversation with where we should locate it, because we want it to be centrally located because we do understand that there are walk-ins as well and we want it to be accessible. With response time, the only people at the station besides dispatch are really just a few like sergeants and ships and maybe the chief. All of the patrol officers, unless they're coming in to make a report, are already in the community. With this, Chief Drake has already started substations as well, and so there's different substations for completing reports, so they don't even have to come to back to the station, and those are at some of the schools around town. And then we're trying to figure out kind of more public substations, so not just an officer coming in giving a report, but an office at like the fire stations where public can come in and they can meet with a law enforcement. So, response time should stay the same. Yeah, great question. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I talk really fast and I talk a lot. So if you have anything that you want me to bring forward next month or you have any questions, please send us an email. You can email any of us you can find our emails at the City of Brookings-sd.gov website. You can just Google us and we'll pop up. And otherwise, I will see you next month. Thanks.
All right, moving on to our next open forum, item B, the International Relations Council annual presentation.
Is unexpected. My name is David Huffman. I am the advisor for IRC and International Student Advisor. So IRC composes, basically in terms of membership, all of the international students. There's the core group of the international student relation, but then there's also like subgroups underneath that. And so the funds that IRC gets, those are dispersed for each of the student groups. Take the next slide. Cool. So the vast majority, actually, going forward, the only events that the money that SA gives IRC is going to be going to our nights. So we have International Night that takes place, India Night, Bangladesh, Nepal, and China Night. There are some other student organizations that have had nights in the past. But since I have been the advisor, they have not given any or done any events so far. So we'll see what happens in the future. Can I get the next slide? Thank you. So I apologize for not being able to give the request amount for 2024 and 2025. I was not the advisor yet, and I don't know where to find that. But I was able to provide the amounts that we've gotten in the past. So last year, or I guess for this fiscal year, we requested $30,000, and we did end up getting that $30,000. A lot of that's going to end up going back into the SA because International Night did not happen this year, just logistics. And then some of the other funds that were apportioned for events that might take place didn't take place. But just to give an idea of what these funds are going to when IRC gets them is every time that there's a night that takes place. First, there's the venue. So usually it's the Volstoff Ballroom, but in the past, we've had a couple events over at the Dakota Center. Event services and catering. So these are the big things. Also decorating, but that doesn't take up as much. So the money that is given to each of the student organizations for their nights is to help cover some of these costs. What I'm looking at doing in the future is for each of the organizations that does do a night, giving them $5,000. So it's not going to cover even half of what their expenses are for that particular night, but it will help them to be able to have those funds because a night can cost up to $13,000. And I anticipate going forward as things get more expensive, we'll see that amount go up some more. So the money is very, very beneficial for those groups, and if we weren't able to give them anything, a lot of the nights may not take place because they're just not making a lot of money off of those. Next slide. So the impact is that each of these nights introduces a piece of culture from whatever organization is doing the night to the broader community. So it's open to students, obviously, but we also pull in members from the community as well that attend a lot of these nights. And so it just helps to introduce some of our domestic students and some of the community members to parts of these cultures like dance, dress, cuisine. The cuisine is always the most popular part. But I think another benefit of it is that if we have like Nepal Night, which is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks, a lot of Nepalese community members from here, from Sioux Falls, and from surrounding cities, they also come. And so there's a very large amount of members of that community that are here. And so students may end up sitting at a table with some of these community members that can explain maybe what's going on. If there's questions that the students have or the community member has, that can help give more information about what's going on. It also gives the opportunity for our international students to kind of show off and to show their culture, because a lot of them come here and they find their groups here. So we've got a decent amount of like Nepalese students, of Bangladeshi students, but they're also surrounded by a culture that's not their own. And so being able to have that opportunity to kind of like show off and show what's so special about their culture is really very, very beneficial, both for them and for us. All right, so any questions?
Yeah, so thank you for the presentation. I'm also from Nepal, and I know a little bit of all these things, whatever you were talking, but I have a question about something about like shuttle service that the student get when they come here to get like assessment, like get into the Watertown, and then past time, like when I was here, like the service was like every week there was to be a services like that, you know, like they were sent on every week, but now I hear more like it's not getting possible. Is there any reasons or like anything that you guys are doing on that?
So that has nothing to do with IRC. That has to do with former international affairs. I still can't get the new office title out of my mouth. International Student and Services Engagement. That's where that is coming from. And so when it comes to like, because I do the Social Security trips, so when it comes to those, we can only take so many students up to the office at one time. So that limits the amount of the number of students that we can take up there. But we've also got a staff. And so sometimes we just don't have the staff to be able to shuttle up more than like once, maybe twice in a week. So sometimes that's what takes time. Like right now, I've got a few students, but there's only like 2. And so kind of try to wait until there's 3 so that it's a little bit more cost effective to do those trips. But that has nothing to do with this IRC budget at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, David. So my question is, I don't know if it's gonna relate or not, but with the change in the federal regulation, what is the enrollment of international students looks like for the South Dakota?
Oh man, that is a very difficult question. So it's hard to say right now. There are a lot of countries where a large amount of our international students come from that now have travel bans. And so they just will not be able to get visas whatsoever. And then in other countries, it's become more challenging. This semester, we definitely saw fewer students than we would typically see in a spring semester. We'll see what happens for fall. Last year was particularly chaotic because there's a lot of unexpected announcements and stuff like that. So we didn't really have time to kind of work around that kind of thing. But hopefully with being able to get some more staff in and maybe seeing things calm down a little bit in terms of regulations and laws and stuff like that, we'll be able to start maybe seeing something closer to normal maybe next year. So, but time will tell. Question? Yes, sir.
For your nights, what is your like average attendance for a night, and then what's your like ratio of like what percentage I guess are like community members versus students?
I am not able to answer that question.
Okay.
So as the advisor for IRC, I'm only really involved myself in international. All of the other groups have their own advisors and are doing their own things. They just get some of that money. So I'm here asking for money, but most of it ends up going to other groups that are fully autonomous, basically.
Okay.
So I want to say for international night last year, maybe it was about 150, but I can't remember. I wasn't expecting that question. It's a good one, but I didn't expect it, so I didn't look.
I think I can answer that question. Like it was like for every night it's minimum of 200 people. I think in the Bangladesh they have 251 or something this time, but in Nepali night last time it was like across 400. Yeah.
Anything else? All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
right, moving on to open forum item C, the quarter scale tractor annual presentation.
Hey everybody, good evening. My name is Logan Turgeson. I am the club president of the quarter scale tractor team at South Dakota State University.
And my name is Joseph Moore. I am the vice president of the quarter scale tractor team. We can go to the next slide. So what is the quarter scale tractor team? We're a student organization mainly composed of ag and engineering majors. So we have lots of ag and biosystems engineers, mechanical engineers, precision agriculture students, ag business, as well as ag systems tech. And we all share a common interest in building, designing, and testing farm equipment. And this can go everywhere from designing the equipment itself, programming the computers that are used to run it, fabricating the parts needed to build them, validating them to make sure that the designs we make actually work, and documenting what we develop. We have 25 active team members. We have about 10 extra people that kind of come and go as their schedules allow. And we officially meet in the Raven Precision Agricultural Building over on the other side of campus. We meet twice a week on Tuesday and Thursday, but we're very often in our shop at other times working on our design to build the next award-winning tractor. So we have two main activities and events that we do each year. The first one is the Iowa State Fall Roundup. This is hosted in Ames, Iowa by Iowa State's quarter scale tractor team. This is an independent competition separate from our main one, and it primarily consists of a tractor pull where we try to see which team's tractor can pull a weighted sled the furthest. We also have the International Quarter Scale Competition. This is the main official event that we build our tractors for. It's hosted by the American Society of Ag and Biosystems Engineers, and we are proud to say that we won the competition in 2018, 2022, and 2023, and for the past 9 years we have placed in the top 4 competitions.
So just to talk a little bit more about the competition that we participate in for ASABE. The competition itself consists of the tractor pull competition, a bump track to test the durability of each team's tractor, the maneuverability track just to again test maneuverability, a safety technical inspection that every tractor has to pass, just a design judging, an oral presentation, and written report. Student impact includes just getting students ready for careers post-college. So furthering their skills and interests in machine design, parts manufacturing, and processes of manufacturing, leadership and teamwork, as well as just challenging each of our team members with maximizing our tractor's performance given the constraints set by the ASABE judging committee. And then the competition itself is judged by people who work in industry, so engineers at John Deere, CNH, Raven, just to name some of the big companies that are in ag, as well as judging our competition.
So a main function of our club is to connect the students in our club with industry professionals. This is partially done through the competition itself, since it is run and judged by industry professionals, but it's also done through building the tractor. Many of our parts are supplied from the same suppliers that real-life manufacturers use, and many of our parts are also manufactured by these same suppliers. So throughout the year, we're working with and managing and building these connections, which helps our students get internships and jobs as they begin to build their careers out of college.
Yeah, and these photos are just to show, again, some of the aspects of the competition. So you can see kind of what the durability course looks like. Those are the bumps that you would see at the end of parking spaces and parking lots. the tractor pull, so that's the weighted sled that we pull, the maneuverability course, and then the brake stand there is just part of the safety technical inspection that, again, every team must pass to participate in the other performance events. And then just to show a little bit of what we build, I guess, that's the CAD model for, I believe, last year's tractor. Everything is built and designed by us except for the back tires and the engine that ASABE provides to each of the teams. And then that's just a picture of the operator station with our custom seat that we built for last year's tractor. And then just to talk about the SA money that we've requested and received over the last 3 years. Each year we've requested $5,000 from SA. Other than financial year 24, we've gotten the $5,000 that we've requested. This is a summary of most of our expenses. Obviously, we have other sources of money, other sponsors, donations. That's all included in this. Our biggest expense, obviously, being the tractor components themselves. So outside of the engine, but the rest of our drivetrain that we have to source and design, build, all of our sheet metal parts, all of our electronic components, everything that comes into the tractor is incorporated into that $25,000. Our travel and lodging is our biggest increase over last year. The competition was actually moved another hour further away, so we moved from Peoria, Illinois to Bloomington, Illinois, just due to the fairgrounds in Peoria being actually torn down. And then otherwise just around $1,000 of shop equipment expenses each year, and then community outreach, about $1,800 a year.
So here's some examples of the community outreach that Logan just talked about. The top left is one of our entries into the City of Brookings Parade of Lights. We like to decorate our tractors and some of the other equipment that the Ag Department has with a silly amount of Christmas lights. And in the top right, we have the Hobo Day Parade with the float that we co-build with the JTAC Club, another club in ABE department. The bottom left, we have a partial sponsorship, but also some help that we do for a dairy farm east of town. We help them tarp a very large silage pile that they put up every year. And the bottom right is, oh, I forgot about it. One Day for State, where we represent the engineering and the ag department. So thank you all for your time. If you have any questions.
Do you ever like recycle any parts from previous year's tractors, or how long do you keep a tractor after you make it?
It depends on how well the tractor works. Some tractors we build end up being very unreliable, so we don't keep them much longer than we have to. Other tractors that work very well, score well in the competition, or that we just personally enjoy driving, we'll keep them around and use them for recruitment and community outreach. So we have some tractors that are, what's the oldest one?
The 2018 one that won. It was the first national champion we have. The ABE department usually keeps that on display in the corn gallery of the Raven building.
Yes.
So I know you guys mentioned sponsorships. Do you guys get sponsorships from any of like companies that you work for as far as getting parts, or are those mainly like cash?
We get both. We receive some cash sponsorships from some sponsors. Other sponsors find it easier to donate parts, components, or labor and time.
On average, how many different schools do you compete against in Illinois?
Usually there's about 28.
There's 28 last year.
28 last year. It's been as high as 30 to 35 in the past. Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
open forum item D, the Rodeo Club annual presentation.
Everyone, I am the Vice President of the SDSU Rodeo Team and Board.
Hello, I'm the Secretary, Josie Lau. I'm also on the SDSU Rodeo Club. I compete in barrels, goats, and breakaway. And we're here presenting the SDSU Rodeo Club with our coach, Ron Scovely. And we have two women's team captains and 2 men's team captains. So we are a rodeo club with 40 plus members. Next slide. And so our motto is come for education, rodeo with tradition. So our mission is foster a positive outlook on the sports of rodeo and provide opportunity for students to rodeo and earn an education. SDSU Rodeo allows students to develop leadership skills and teamwork to put on events such as the Jackrabbit Stampede, Rodeo, and the Buckles and Bling Banquet. So in the last 20 years, we've sent rodeo competitors to the CNFR every year and competing and ending up in the top 5 or doing well at the CNFR.
This year for One Day for State, we had 265 donors and $149,136, which was actually the most money that we have raised in the past couple of years. And then we also use that money for travel. We usually travel about 5,000 miles to 5 different states in our region. A little bit of our funding allocations. Usually pay a lot for the DBC, which is the Dakota Bank Center. That's usually goes to more than $20,000. And then our scholarships, which goes to most of our members, $35,000. And supplies that we need to keep running our facility where most of our members board their horses comes out to $22,000. Miscellaneous, just certain things that we need year by year that don't usually come around, keep back $21,000. And we have quite a bit of community involvement. We usually participate in State-a-thon, and then we always have a booth at the Black Hill Stock Show and Brookings PRC Rodeo. We usually have runnings, women's nights. We participate in horse club, roping night, and we have 4 region event directors, and we also participated in the Dubrick Elementary Streams Night, which we have done for the past 2 years.
So for our scholarships, we have 10 Steer for State scholarships and 4 board member scholarships and 10 booster scholarships. So our scholarships are really big for SDSU Rodeo Club because that helps with our recruitment and having good recruits and people who want to work hard and go to this and qualify for the CNFR. So having good scholarships that will bring in people from out of state or even in state to get more competitors. Like we said, we have 40 plus team members, so paying out scholarships and allocating that money, it adds up very quickly depending on what caliber each college rodeo athlete is. Unlike the equestrian team, we are just a club, so most of our students are going to school and we don't always have the benefits of being a sport where you get advising or early access to classes. So being able to manage time and go to school and we practice 5 days a week. And so the sponsorships are a really big part of how we raise our money and get people from different areas to come and rodeo for us. And for our attendance, we have Buckles and Bling. So we have 285 attendants, and a lot of our funding goes into Buckles and Bling because it is an expensive fundraiser, as we do before the Jackrabbit Stampede. And our Jackrabbit Stampede has 500 to 700 students. And another part of our another big part of fundraising because we are not considered a sport. Our students only get in at a discount. And so a lot of our funding goes into providing students and parents discounts to the rodeo.
Last year we asked for 5,000 for our advertising fund, and then for the student association funding, we also asked for 10,000. We're also asking the same for this year, and to my understanding, we only got 3,500 last year. Any questions?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, never mind, we got one.
Why are you guys a club and not a sport? Have you ever tried to become an official sport with SDSU?
I think we've just never really been considered an official thing through SDSU.
The NCAA doesn't recognize rodeo as an official sport.
There we go.
There are a few other teams that we compete against in this particular region that are considered a sport, but there's not many of them. Thank you for your time.
All right, moving on to open forum item E, public comments. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the Senate tonight? Anyone online? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to committee and staff reports, beginning with my own. Vice President Sierra and I had our usual meeting with our advisors last week, as well as we'll have one tomorrow. I happily participated in Senate Outreach Week with Communications Chair Ringenberg. She'll talk more about that. We also have our monthly meeting with President Dunn this Friday, which Wesley and I will obviously report on the happenings. So if you have anything to report to President Dunn, please let me know by the end of the day on Wednesday, preferably as soon as possible. More notably, I testified in Pierre at the House Education Committee 2 Wednesdays ago, the Wednesday that we didn't have a meeting. I testified on House Bill 1325, which is what we formally opposed as a Senate. That bill did not make it out of committee. It was some interesting discussion, but it was fulfilling to hear the Board of Regents' response in that they are working on housing and meal plans as the students are requested. In addition, I have a fun weekend planned. I will be at Budget Marathon with many of our Budget Committee or Finance Committee members with Finance Chair Delahoyd, Chief Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and all our lovely senators. And then something exciting for me, I'll be serving at the Soul Food Luncheon for BSA, and I would love to see as many people there. The food is obviously very good, but it's also a great opportunity to get to know the SEC much better, but also just meet some friendly faces. So I would encourage you all to be there. If you can't eat or you can't stay for long, that's okay. It's just really good to get SA's face at those diverse events so we show our support, but also it's just kind of an interesting personal event. So I believe that's all I have. End of report, Vice President Sierra.
Yep. The election steering committee, if we could meet right after meeting tonight, it shouldn't take too long. Just to kind of confirm our tentative campaign guidelines meeting. We'll plan on doing that March 5th, which is Thursday after the slate closes, at 7 p.m. So for any senators, or other candidates that make it to be on the ballot, they have to attend that meeting. And then at that meeting, we'll take headshots as well for the ballot. Then just go over the general rules and everything that's involved, for the campaign, period of time. If you haven't emailed me for a petition and you want to run again for Senate, please do. They are due next Monday at 5 p.m., March 2nd. So, end report.
Chief of Staff Peterson.
Yes, update on our legal aid. It's been being utilized a lot, so that's really awesome. Our new senator headshots were posted in the window of the SA office, so make sure you check those out. I'm going to be doing a center spotlight for the new at-larges this week or next week, most likely this week. So also look out for that on the Instagram and Facebook. And I'm doing a last call for graduation stoles. If you guys are interested, if you are a graduating senior and you want a stole, please let me know after this meeting. If you know anyone that was on Senate previously and is not this year and I did not send them an email, let them know and tell them to get in touch with me by Friday if they want a stole. They will be around $44 and that comes out of your own pocket. So if that changes your mind, please let me know. And then I have been working on scheduling speakers for the rest of the semester. We have some really good ones lined up. And I just want to remind everyone to please complete your office hours and record them because there have been a few that have not been doing them. And if you don't do them this week, you'll probably get an email from me. So please do your office hours.
Finance Chair Delahoyd.
As Madam President said, it's budget marathon week, so I have been very, very busy this last week, getting all the clubs, finances and everything. So all of them should have been turned in on Saturday, and now I'm reviewing them this whole week, and then we'll have them all ready. So we have a meeting Wednesday, then Friday, Saturday, and then the Wednesday after. So thank your fellow finance committee people. It's gonna be a long week for them, but it's gonna be good, and we're gonna allocate some money to some clubs. End of report.
Government Affairs Chair Hunt.
As President Spear said 2 weeks ago, I attended the House Education Committee with her, and it was some very good debate, and the House Bill 1325 did ultimately get moved to the 41st day. And I will give a report on City Council, but you did just hear from Councilwoman Duran, so you heard all of that. Student Promotion Fund Committee met 2 weeks ago, and we voted to fund AISA's Wachipi event. It is the last weekend of March, so please attend. And then I have another city council meeting and a meeting with the mayor tomorrow. He is giving his State of the City address tomorrow at the city council meeting. End of report.
Communications Chair Ringenberg.
Senate Outreach Week last week went very well. Thank you to everyone who helped table, participated in the Q&A, and attended the event. The pizza and popcorn night went very well. We had a lot of attendees and gave out all the pizza we ordered, so that was great. Everyone should have access to their headshots. Let me know if you didn't receive an email with access to those. The Robert report went out, and then I'm working on getting things ready for the elections with the Election Steering Committee, and I'll be attending Faculty Senate meeting tomorrow. End of report.
Diversity Liaison Alex.
I attended the Human Rights Commission meeting last week. Just some things we discussed. They're planning for Juneteenth. It's gonna be Friday, June 19th this year. And they were kind of just asking if anybody's in the Brookings area this summer to like help out if you're available, to just like set up and help with the event. And a couple of bills were brought up. And some members of the HRC will be testifying about the bills. First, there was Senate Bill 190. This bill basically talked about parental rights regarding like the upbringing, education, and medical care of their minor children. And though this bill like aims to strengthen and like codify parents' rights, it ultimately like directly targets the LGBTQ youth, and it restricts like names or preferred names and pronouns for the LGBTQ youth, and yeah. And then they also talked about House Bill 1184, which is the bill that defines what a woman and a man is, and would prohibit funding for anything to the contrary. And lastly, the Soul Food Luncheon, like President Spear mentioned, is this Friday from 11:30 to whenever the food is gone in the Student Engagement Center. I hope to see you all there.
Moving on to ex officios, beginning with AFA.
Last week we were really successful with our wellness for mental health and physical. There's a rock climbing event that got really some good traction. This week we are doing a movie night at the BSEC Center at 6 on Thursday. I don't know what movie it is, but I encourage others to come and watch and kind of talk and maybe become a member of the club and report.
AISA,
Just that the WTP is in 33D.
BSA,
Third one is it, please come to the soul food luncheon on the 28th. End of report.
GSA,
We are finally having our rescheduled karaoke night on Wednesday night instead of a regular meeting. Feel free to come, everyone's welcome. End of report.
Hero,
We have our normal meeting tomorrow at 7, and then our self-defense class on Thursday from 6 to 9 in the barn, so if you're interested, please come to that and report.
Honors,
The Honors College is really proud to announce that Dr. Greg Heiberger was selected as the Dean of the Fishback Honors College. So we're congratulating him. And then a couple other announcements. If you are an honor student interested in attending or presenting at the Upper Midwest Honors Conference, that is from April 10 through 12 in Madison, South Dakota, so not too far down the road. And the application deadline to attend is Wednesday, February 25th. So get that in. And then if you are interested in joining the Honorees Literary Circle, it's a great opportunity to work with not only students, but also faculty members in the Honors College. They are reading And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, so I'm sure it's going to be a good book. And if you are interested, that sign up is due on Thursday, February 26th. End of report.
IRC,
We got Nepal night coming up on March 22nd, 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets should be out this week, so grab yourself a ticket if you're gonna be in town early from spring break. End of report.
LASA, RHA,
We were honored this evening to be visited by Dr. Willis and Jennifer Notney. We had a very fruitful discussion about potential changes that are upcoming. I'll leave it at that. Otherwise, the Self-Pledge event was very successful. End report.
Unified Council,
Yeah, the Unified Council, along with chapter presidents, has decided to change around some of the events for Greek Week due to chapter interest and disinterest, so updated list will be coming out when that's been finalized. Other than that, just fraternities have been hosting lots of very successful socials in hopes of increasing Greek life, but also interfraternal connections. And report.
Unified Council,
We are still working on our fall budget for recruitment. Hoping to have that finalized before spring break. February 24th is one of the sororities, Alpha Zeta Delta's Dairy Queen Tip Night. So if you're hungry, all that money goes towards their philanthropy. And then March 2nd through the 6th is Chi Omega's Wish Week, raising money for Make-A-Wish. One big thing that they are promoting is a bake sale in the Union. So if you're walking through the Union, you see a bake sale, stop by.
and UPC.
Okay, so last Saturday, the 14th, we took a group of students to Moulin Rouge at the Washington Pavilion, and all the students loved it and had a great time. Tonight, we're having book bedazzling. So after this meeting, if you have a book or something you want to go bedazzle, that's going on at the market stage till 9. Throughout February, we are having our competition for students to compile a video of things that they love about SDSU and showcasing the SDSU experience. That competition is making a 3 to 6 minute video. And first place prize is $250. And the videos have to be submitted on February 28th. March 5th, 6 to 8 p.m., we are having a Murder in the Mansion clue-inspired mystery event where participants try to solve a crime, and there'll be teams of 6 going through themed rooms to uncover clues of like who committed the murder. And there's also going to be pasta dinner provided and prizes awarded to the winning teams. And to sign up to that, you have to sign up. So there's posters all over campus that you just do the QR code to sign up your team. And we are also currently hiring for next year. So if you want to help create no or low cost events for students, there's an application on Jack's Club Hub, and there's QR codes on flyers all around campus, and coordinators receive a stipend each semester too. So yeah, if you're interested in any of those things. End of report.
Moving on to advisors. Advisor Bylander.
I finally got my nameplate.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Peterson. A quick plug for my own office. Saturday is National Trio Day, and to celebrate that on Friday, we are hosting an open house from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Trio office. It does almost directly overlap with the Soul Food Luncheon. We do start a little bit earlier though, so if you want to hear Brookings Mayor Opie Niemeyer give a mayoral proclamation, stop on by, hang out for a little bit, and then rush on over to the Soul Food Luncheon before they run out of food. End of report.
Advisor Schmidt.
Just one thing, everyone, I want you to encourage your classmates and everything. They're coming out with a new survey for advising. So when you're gonna see your advisors, when you register, they're gonna give you a QR code to take an advising survey. It's gonna be pretty short, as I understand. I haven't seen it yet. But the reason I wanna stress that is because as a faculty member, it's very difficult to show how well you are at advising or how poor you are at advising, because there's really no metrics for advising. And so this is gonna give us a metric for faculty members that are doing advising. And so I'd encourage you to take that. If every faculty member can get 5 people taking it, then they'll get the results back. They can share that and use that on their annual review. So it's something that will help improve their advising, improve advising on campus, and also be a benefit to them, hopefully, if they do well for their reviews and their report.
And Dr. Willis.
Nothing to report.
Moving on to committees. Are there any committees that like to report out tonight? Senator Anderson.
Safety and security met a couple weeks ago with Chief Drake. It was good. Talked about some of the concerns that we had for safety on campus. And you know, if the cowboy hats would stick or go away, but you know, still a mystery. And then we got some additional stuff from emergency management about physical security policy we have to meet about at some point, so. Your report.
Other committees. Senator Mollison.
Access, opportunity, and belonging met this past week. We had a pretty hefty meeting discussing the charter, and kind of deciding on how we reform the future organization of the committee. And then we briefly also touched on the campus climate survey, as well, and what we do with the findings as well. And
Senator Bolweg. Other committees to report out tonight. All right, any questions for any of the reports? Senator or Advisor Schmidt.
I have a question for safety and security, and I have no idea where I'm coming off on this, but we had an incident this weekend, a tragic incident, almost. I don't know if the person made it, that somebody fell asleep downtown. They had to take him for hypothermia. I don't know of what happened or whatever, but the person almost died. And there had been some rhetoric online about people were offering a ride, but the police weren't allowing them to go in the back of a truck or something to give them a ride home. My question is really, if you guys maybe want to follow up on that, is Rabbit Ride still going? Are we is that something that we could have responded to? I don't know much about it, I just wanted to throw it out there so that you guys were aware. Cause I've been hearing also some rhetoric that this is not uncommon, that this is happening. So, just a little concern from a safety, security for our students, position. There might be nothing to this. The stuff I was reading might, who knows, it's online stuff, but I know that, there was somebody that was basically taken to the hospital and then had to get shoveled down to Sioux Falls because they had hypothermia. I think they fell asleep outside, basically, is what I think happened. I don't know if it was a student. It might not have been a student, it was somebody that was 23, so it could not have been a student, but just in general. Just thought I'd put that out there for you guys to maybe follow up and see if that's anything to that and if there's something that we want to respond to.
Other questions for the reports? Finance Chair Delahooyd.
What is stunt, Senator Bolwick?
A good question.
Okay, don't feel like very good.
Not a lot of dancing, a lot of flips. Yep. Other questions for the reports tonight? I have one. The CPH representative for Unified Council. Did you guys already have your ice skating event for Make-A-Wish?
Yes, that was our Chi Omega chair.
Okay.
That was that fell through on her end. She did not get that information out on time.
Okay.
It was supposed to be added to the rabbit report, but
It was, and we realized that it was actually already passed.
Yes.
But it was just something that we accidentally missed. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't have that date wrong or anything.
thank you.
Senator Bolwig, you're pretty popular tonight because I also have a question for you. Your report made it sound like the university is considering dropping equestrian as a sport. Can you just clarify if you were implying that or if that is something that you talked about in that committee?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. All right. Any other questions for reports tonight? Just wanted to add something that I forgot. I still need someone to sit on the mental health well-being team. This is a really fun opportunity, and I just don't have the room in my schedule right now. I'd really like to see a senator step up and take this role if possible. Probably like a one meeting every other week, maybe. They do a lot of interactive stuff, not only with students, but also getting to know faculty and the counseling center as well. So if you are considering that, please send me an email, preferably right now, but as you are able. Just want to make sure no more questions, comments for reports tonight. Alrighty, we'll move on to unfinished business, beginning with the Cafes Prexy Council new venture application. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Cafes Prexy Council New Venture Fund Request. Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. The Finance Committee met with representatives from the Cafes Prexy Council on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 at 7:15 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahooyd, Senators Anderson, Shrestha, Sharples-Schmidt, Wallen, Roca, Christoffels, Foley, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Cafes Prexy Council representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a unanimous recommendation of approving Cafes Prexy Council's new venture application, awarding them an amount of $1,750 from the fiscal year 26 new venture fund, leaving a remaining amount for fiscal year 26 of $0. With the approval of the Senate, the Cafes Prexy Council will be placed on the general budget starting in fiscal year 27, which runs from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The amount awarded to the Cafes Prexy Council for fiscal year 27 and each fiscal year following will be decided during the general budget allocation process that takes place each spring for the next fiscal year. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahooyd.
Motion to approve, Finance Chair Delahooyd.
I move to approve this on behalf of the Finance Committee.
Finance Chair Delahooyd, first right to debate.
Yeah, so this is a club that, like I mentioned last meeting, we funded every year, just through our special allocation. Now we're wanting to just move to a new venture so that we're not having to have them reapply every year and then have it come through here to vote. And so with that, we're taking the remaining money in our new venture and giving it to them, as new venture is now closed, so nobody else can apply for it. And then that'll be equivalent to what we give them each year for a special allocation. So I'd encourage you to vote yes on this.
Further discussion? We do have a representative here if there are any questions.
Yeah, I'm Bryce Hobshield. I'm the treasurer for the Cafes Prexy Council. Just wanna say thank you guys for looking over this and approving us. It's really gonna help us kind of take Egg Week to the next level. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you, guys.
All right, any further discussion? We'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please call the roll?
Senators Anderson,
Aye.
Bolweg,
Aye.
Bry,
Aye.
Christoffels,
Aye.
Darrench,
Foxy. Aye.
Foley, Holland,
Aye.
Catano,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Mollison,
Aye.
Podell,
Aye.
Roca,
Aye.
Sharples Schmidt,
Aye.
Shrestha,
Aye.
Siwa Cody,
Aye.
Sleep,
Aye.
Smith abstains, Wallen,
Foxy. Aye.
Warfa,
Aye.
Finance Chair Delahoyd,
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson, aye, Vice President Sierra.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the Cafes Prexy Council new venture application is approved. All right, moving on to unfinished business, item B, the Catholic Jacks new venture application. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Catholic Jacks New Venture Fund request, Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. The Finance Committee met with representatives from the Catholic Jacks on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 at 7:45 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahoyd, Senators Anderson, Shrestha, Sharples Schmidt, Wallen, Roca, Christoffels, Foley, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Catholic Jacks representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a unanimous recommendation of approving Catholic Jacks New Venture application, awarding them an amount of $0 from the fiscal year 26 New Venture Fund. With the approval of the Senate, the Catholic Jacks will be placed on the general budget starting in fiscal year 27, which runs from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The amount awarded to the Catholic Jacks for fiscal year 27 and each fiscal year following will be decided during the general budget allocation process that takes place each spring for the next fiscal year. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Motion to approve. Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I move to approve this on behalf of the Finance Committee.
Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Yeah, so they host events weekly, and this is money that's going directly toward those events. So with this being our first religious organization, just a little explanation. We just can't basically fund any services or ceremonies. We can fund events and stuff that they put on. We just can't fund that. And so they came to us with an application talking about all the different events they're doing, and they're wanting money to be able to put on those events. And so, yeah.
Further discussion. We also have a representative here. All right. We will take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please call the roll?
Vice President Sierra.
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson, aye. Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Abstain.
Senators Warfa,
Aye.
Wallen,
Foxy. Aye.
Smith abstains, Sleep,
Aye.
Siwa Cody,
Aye.
Shrestha,
Aye.
Sharples Schmidt,
Aye.
Roca,
Aye.
Podell,
Aye.
Mollison,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Catano,
Aye.
Holland,
Aye.
Foley,
Foxy. Aye.
Darrench,
Proxy. Aye.
Christoffels, Bry,
Aye.
Bolweg, Anderson.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the Catholic Jacks New Venture application is approved. All right, moving on to new business. Commemoration 25-5-C. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Commemoration 25-5-C. Title of commemoration reads, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes March 1st to March 31st as Women's History Month, celebrating the contributions, achievements, and resilience of women throughout history and within our campus community. Prime sponsor is Senator Mollison. Sponsors include President Spear, Vice President Sierra, Chief of Staff Peterson, Finance Chair Delahoyd, Government Affairs Chair Hunt, Communications Chair Ringenberg, Diversity Liaison Alex, and Senators Christoffels, Bolweg, Lopez, and Catanam.
This is new business, but would anyone request this item be read in full? All right, we will vote on this next week. Moving on to new business item B, the opening slate for president and vice presidential nominations. Just gonna go into a quick explanation again like I did last meeting. We will open the slate for president and vice presidential nominations every week. This is our second week. Next week will be the last week they will be open, and then they will be closed indefinitely. Again, we're gonna open it. We need a motion, need a second to open the slate, and then whatever nominations can be presented and seconded as well. And then once there are no more nominations, we will then have a motion to close the slate, needing a second, but no voice vote or any of the such. Any questions about this process or anything like that? All right, is there a motion to open the slate? Vice President Sierra.
I move to open the slate for vice president and president nominations.
It's been moved to open the slate for president and vice presidential nominations. Moved and seconded. Are there any nominations for president and vice presidential nominations? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I nominate Sophie Spear and Megan Christoffels as president and vice president candidates.
It's been motioned and seconded as myself and Senator Christoffels to be nominated for the presidential and vice presidential nominations. Senator Christoffels, do you accept this nomination? Likewise, I accept this nomination. And that is that. Are there any further nominations? All right, is there a motion to close the slate? Vice President Sierra. It's been motioned to close the slate for president and vice presidential nominations. Again, these will be open for one more week, closing next week, and then just kind of a reminder for all senators petitioning, those will also be due before our meeting at 5 p.m. to Wesley. The more timely you can get those in, the more timely the university can approve them and fix out any errors that may be. Moving on to topics for future discussion. Are there any topics for future discussion? All right, moving on to announcements. Any announcements? Chief Staff Peterson.
I would like to say congratulations to Senator Sleep on her engagement. We could get a round of applause.
Other announcements. I have one of my own. Aside from my role as SA President, I also run the Green Bandana Project. We have our first QPR, so Question, Persuasion, and Refer training tomorrow night at 6, something I'm very excited about, and I would love to give you more information if you are interested. It should take about an hour, and it is at no cost to you. Any other announcements? Is there a motion to adjourn? Senator Christoffels. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? We are adjourned.